Hey, what's up, guys? It's Josh Barr. So it finally happened. I got puked on. I picked up a Lyft rider, and she gave me a lot of that Lyft love. So as you can see, I'm in the car wash, and you're not a real driver until you get puked on. So I'm gonna wash the car and I'll talk about it tomorrow.
Alright guys, that was Wednesday night, October 15th. And as you can tell from the video, I got a lot of live love that night. It was actually my first Wednesday driving, and I was just out testing the waters. I like driving from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. and I was just out that night trying to get a feel for Wednesday and see what Wednesday brings to the table. I was actually off to a good start, as you can tell from the top review. Did my first run, went into my second run, and my third ride turned into a vomiting contest. Now, as a Lyft driver, you do get reimbursed and compensated for the cleaning fee, either $100 or $250, depending on the extent of damage, and that's pretty much up to Lyft's discretion. It's also the same with Uber. You do get reimbursed and compensated for a cleaning fee, but that is also up to Uber's discretion. The procedure for making the claim and getting reimbursed is the same for both of them. You take at least 2 pictures of the incident, get a cleaning receipt, and email it to either Uber or Lyft. Now you can clean the mess yourself, but for paperwork purposes and evidence, it's probably better to take it to a detailer and get a receipt. Now, I chose not to report it and not make a claim, and if you care to listen to the story, I'll explain why. So I got a hit, and it was 2 girls. One was a student nurse, and the other was birthday girl. Now, birthday girl was wasted, right? That's what we do on our birthdays, which is fine. The birthday girl sits in the back, and the nurse sits in the front. So they give me the address of where to take them, and as we're about to start the trip, the nurse gets a phone call. The phone call was from the birthday girl's roommate, who was in the area and wanted a ride home. So the nurse was like, "Hey, it's our friend. Can you stay here with the birthday girl while I go get our friend?" So I'm like, "Sure, no problem." So the birthday girl's in the back, and she starts like burping, like very like unladylike. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's whatever. And then it's like, huh, and I turn to the side, and the birthday girl opens the door and starts like vomiting on the sidewalk on the street. So I'm like, oh man. So I pop open the trunk and get some towels I use to clean the car. Now, like 95% of the vomit was on the street, and like there was just a little bit on the car. So the taxi drivers are looking at me, and there's some people on the sidewalk kind of looking at what's happening. Then the nurse comes with the roommate. The roommate was drunk also and eating a pizza, because you know when you're drunk you just kind of want to eat something greasy. So the roommate's drunk and sits in the front seat. I give the nurse the towels, and the nurse is kind of like wiping the side of the car and like cleaning her friend a little bit. So after her friend gets done vomiting, 'cause she vomited it like a good amount, the nurse cleans her up and sits in the back with the birthday girl. Now the plan was to drop off the birthday girl and her roommate, and then drop off the nurse at her place. So I'm thinking, well, at least I'm ending my night on a good run. The birthday girl's house was 20 minutes away, and 10 minutes into it, the roommate was saying how she didn't feel good and she needed some air. So she rolls the window down a little bit, and the nurse asks her, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "I don't really feel too good. I just need some air." The next thing I know is the roommate rolls the window all the way down and sticks her head out. And the nurse was saying, "Oh wait, what are you doing?" And before you know it, the roommate starts making it rain on the car. At this point, I'm like, "Oh man." But I was driving like 60, 65 miles an hour on the highway, and the roommate is making it rain on the car. So I'm like, oh, okay. Now we're 5 minutes away from the birthday girl's house, and the birthday girl starts like burping again. So I'm kind of looking at her, like getting ready to pull over, and the nurse was, "No, it's okay. She's just coughing." And she puts the towel on the birthday girl's mouth, and the birthday girl was kind of just coughing. So I'm like, oh, okay. We get to the house, and I dropped them off. The nurse says I was gonna go home, but since they're so drunk, like I'm just gonna stay over at their place and watch over them. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Now I step out and I look at the car, and it has vomit on it, and I open the door, the back seat, and there's some vomit on the back seat. And what happened was, when I gave them the towel to clean wherever they would place the towel would leave like vomit. So it wasn't a lot, but it was still enough to make it nasty. So I went to the car wash and I cleaned. I went through the car wash and then I cleaned the inside of the car. Now, I could make the claim, but it was on the nurse's account. And in the way, the nurse is kind of responsible for her friend's actions, but but I can sympathize with the nurse just because I could see myself in that position trying to do the right thing and help my friends out. And the nurse is thinking, oh, it's going to be a $20 fare, and then I'm going to hit her over the head with like $120. So, I'm out here hustling, but at the same time, I'm not that money hungry. And, I can sympathize with the nurse. Now, if it was the birthday girl's account, I might make a claim and say, hey, happy birthday, give me $100, give me $250. But that wasn't the case. Now, if the birthday girl would have like vomited inside the car, I would want to make the claim just because of the carpet, and she did vomit a lot. But like I said, 95% of it was outside the car, and I kind of just ran it through the car wash and cleaned the back seat a little bit. It wasn't, too much. So that's pretty much it. Now, if you want to make a claim, make sure you take pictures, keep receipts as evidence, and email them to either Uber or Lyft. I chose not to make a claim. And that's pretty much my experience with someone vomiting or getting puked on. And I've had a lot of close calls, but with this one I just couldn't seem to avoid it. So until next time, stay anabolic, and I'll catch y'all next time.